Every good podcast starts with this. Love that for me. I think I'm gonna buy another copy of this book specifically so that I can gift it to people when they come visit me. I think this is one of those books that I would gift to somebody else. Same thing as Hidden Genius. This one in Hidden Genius, I would gift to other people. I think it's that valuable. I finished reading The 5 Types of Wealth by Sahil Bloom. As you can see, it is quite literally littered with flags, like quite literally littered with flags. And there's stuff written in it, there's stuff highlighted in it, and this is just it is a very well written book. But I have some things that I didn't prefer, and I have some things that I really liked about the book. Before I get there, though, I just want to show you guys the state of my flags, though. I literally used 3 full colors, and the yellow and the slight green are all depleted. The purple is depleted. The pink and blue are still there. That's only because they kind of got all stuck in there and I couldn't get them out. But I use a ton of flags, and I only have like 4 transparent sticky notes left. Like I used up a lot of my transparent sticky notes too. So I really went to town on this book, and I want to stress that. Like I really did enjoy this book. I think the parts of the book that I enjoyed more is when Sahil Bloom is retelling the story of somebody in the context of the principle or the way or the theme that he's trying to portray. He tells it through the story of somebody's life, and that could be somebody in history. It's usually somebody in history, or maybe a friend of his, or somebody in mainstream media, etc. Right? So I really enjoyed those parts because, one, it introduced me to people that I'd never heard of in my life, whose just history is interesting, like Kublai Khan, grandson, I think, of Genghis Khan, who started paper money. I never knew that. That was cool. I liked those stories. I read Time Wealth, Physical Wealth, and Financial Wealth, which is the last 3. Last week, we talked about social wealth and mental wealth. This video is talking about time wealth, physical wealth, and financial wealth. So without further ado, let's get into part 2 of breaking down the 5 types of wealth in excruciating detail: time wealth, physical wealth, financial wealth. And we will start with time wealth, and I will just kind of go through it and talk to you guys about it, because initially when I had gotten to the time wealth section, when I was first reading this, I said I'll come back to it. And the main reason is because I know that, like, I have a very weird relationship with time, the concept of time. I'm so acutely aware of it, down to the millisecond, the microsecond, the nanosecond, that if I feel like I don't know what to do because I have 30 minutes and the task that I want to do might take me 45, or a task that I want to do might take me 15, I don't know what to do for the other 15, in that time, or I can't finish a task, I just freeze. I have too many options how I want to spend my time. I get a lot of decision paralysis. And I also, like, I think because of my such acute awareness of it, it restricts me to the point where it's not beneficial in terms of my productivity. It's more detrimental. An example of that is actually, I know that I need to be in bed by like 11 or 11:30 at the latest, in order to sleep properly, get my 6 to 7 hours that I need before I wake up at 7:30 the next morning. And so my day has to stop at around 10:30, 11 if I push it. But it has to stop there. And you might think, well, that's actually very late. Yes, but a lot of times when I'm working all day and my wife is working all day, and then we come home and then we're doing cooking or we're doing chores or whatever it is, and then we're trying to decompress after dinner and things like that. We want to stay up, we want to talk, maybe we want to read and things like that. But or if I'm sitting here recording and doing other work that I have, I sometimes am like, okay, well, can I do this thing in bed? Yes or no? No, okay, I won't do it now. Can I do this in bed? Yes, okay, cool. If I do it in bed, how focused do I have to be on it, right? Usually it resorts to reading in bed, being on your phone in bed. Sometimes I'll take my laptop and I'll code in bed and things like that. But I know that I have a hard stop at 10:30, 11ish, usually for anything that I do in the day. So that sometimes gives me a lot of like paralysis for the evening. 4:30 rolls around and I'm like, what do I want to do with my evening? Do I need to do chores tonight? Do I need to go to the gym tonight? Do I need to go on a walk tonight? Do I need to do any sort of editing, recording, posting, etc. tonight? Do I need to do any other work tonight? Along with specifically eating dinner and spending time with my wife, that is a non-negotiable. But a lot of the times it turns into we eat dinner together and then we go split and do our separate things after dinner for like an hour and then we reconvene when it's time for bed. But I try not to do certain things that are going to take me away from the house after work if my wife's coming home, things like that, right? Sometimes I'll be like, I'm going to go to the gym, I'll come back. But because we don't see each other all day, it's like, okay, I need to make sure I'm here in this time and I'm present. So it's just, I have a very like weird relationship with time. Even like a different example, when I am like driving somewhere or when we have an appointment to go somewhere, what will end up happening is like, I was raised Indian, and but my type of Indian is you get there early and you leave late. It's not you get there 30 minutes late. You get there early to help set up and you help break things down. Like that's the kind of Indian that I am. So I almost always get places like 5 minutes early for like no reason. But when I'm going anywhere, I'm thinking how much time is it going to take me from where I currently am in my house to get to the destination, right? So if I'm on my desk, maybe it'll take me 5 minutes to get out the door, another 3 minutes, 2 minutes to walk to my car, another 5 minutes to walk into my car, get the car started, get the AC on, wait for things to boot up, and then drive out, etc. Right? And then when I'm driving, then I'll be like, okay, cool. How long is it going to take me to get there? Things like that, right? So like I have a really, really big problem with like time, and so the time wealth section was actually very illuminating for me. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very beneficial to the way that I think about time. And so the big question that Sahil Bloom posts at the beginning of Time Wealth is how many moments do you have remaining with your loved ones, which is loved ones can be family, friends, etc. And I talked about in the last video that his question about how many times you're going to see your parents before they die really changed the way I look, the way I like think about relationships and time in general. And this is expanding on that, where basically you have to think about like how much time do you really have to spend with loved ones, depending on who it is, right? And honestly, the biggest thing is he illustrates 6 separate graphs that I'm need to remember to take a picture of and send it to my to my editor to add to the video so you guys can see it too. There's 6 graphs that he shows that are pretty eye-opening, right? The first graph is the time spent with the family, which basically looks like this, where it starts at the top, where when you're young, you have a lot of hours in the day that you're spending with family because you're at home, you're at school, you're with your family all the time. Once you grow up, you move out, you don't see your friends, you don't see your parents as much. Maybe you move out to a different place than your siblings, than your cousins. You just don't see family as much until you get together at a reunion or a holiday or things like that, right? And so the time spent that you spend with your family decreases drastically from your teens to your 20s to your 30s, etc. And then it kind of plateaus into your adult age when everybody has their schedule of like when they meet. The next thing is the time spent with children in general, right? Like the time of your life when you're spending with children, which is this one right here at the top corner. In general, right? Like when you're 15, 16, when you're in your 20s, maybe you're thinking about like school, career, etc. And maybe you're not spending a lot of time with children, but you are maybe spending time with certain children if there's like people in the neighborhood or your cousins or your nieces or your younger siblings, etc. But in your 30s and 40s, when you are having children, trying to start a family, you're spending a ton of time with kids, your own kids. And that then steeply falls once they're into their teen years and they don't want to spend as much time with you as a parent. They just want you there to do things for them, but then they want to go do things that they want to do with their friends or with themselves or want to be by themselves, etc. So you really only spend how many ever hours in the baby years, the toddler years, the kid years, maybe the preteen years with them. But once the teens hit, they're already out like one foot out the door in many ways, and so you don't see them as much, and you already have to like expect that and plan for that. But then you have to understand, I only have a good 10 to 12 years with my child, with just me and the child. Like I'm their best friend, I'm their everything, and you really have to like think about how do I how do I get the most out of this experience? And that's why I understand, like, people are taking their kids everywhere with them. You don't leave your kids at home. You don't leave them with a nanny. You want to take them everywhere because you don't have that much time with them realistically. But there's a very small window where you're their everything and they're your everything. And you want to really, really sit in that and experience that time with them because it is so fleeting. It is so, so immensely fleeting. And then the next graph is time spent with friends, which, similar to the time spent with family, education years, school years, the concept of proximity friends. You're just friends by proximity, friends by people who are around you, or friends with people who are always around you in the same classes as you, etc. But as you get into your adult years, when you're at work, and then you go home to your own place, and you're at work to work, you're not really trying to make friends with your colleagues. Maybe there's a hierarchy. You don't really see them outside of work, so you go home. Maybe you move to a different state for the job, and you haven't made friends there. The amount of time that you spend with friends per day, once again, drastically decreases, and then maybe can plateau over time. But where you had a breadth and a large amount of friends in your early years, you have this really small subsection of friends that you try to keep around in your later years. But the time you're spending with them, once again, is very minimal because they have a family, you have a family, they have a career, you have a career. Everybody's busy. Now you have to schedule time to like catch up with friends and things like that, or you text them saying, "Hey, I'm checking in, everything good?" They're like, "Okay, cool, all good. All right, dope. I guess I'll talk to you in a couple of months again." Like that's just how it goes. It's unfortunate, but that is just how it goes. And being aware of that and really using the time that you have with your friends to the max is just one way to help counteract this reduction in time that you have with them. Is you have less quantity, but then you want to make the quality of the time that you have with them very good. Drink break. So good. I put this in my chocolate like milkshake that I make as the milk base. It's so good. It's like half the can, which is decent, like 15 grams of protein in the milkshake itself. Creamies are dope. All right. The time spent with your partner, which should increase over time and then plateau as you guys live together. But the idea is that as you find your life partner, you are spending most of, if not all, the rest of your years with said partner. Kids come and then they go. Friends come and then they go. Family comes and then they go. But your partner hopefully comes and stays with you, and you two are together until one of you dies, unfortunately. So unless you guys have a pact to go together, one of y'all is going first. You know what I mean? So spending quality time with your partner is very, very important because even in the day, you guys are doing separate jobs. You guys are in separate locations. Maybe you don't text as often or like communicate during the day as much. You do a lot of communication at the end of the day. It is really tough when you have two working partners in the same household. What if one has to leave early, one leaves late, one works late, one gets off early? Both of you guys, like maybe one person likes to go to the gym in the evening, one person likes to stay in, all that stuff, right? You're always going different places. And a lesson that I have to learn and that I've been working on is really trying to spend that quality time with my partner, knowing full well that like she's out of the house, I'm out of the house, I'm at the gym, she just got home. Oh, I need to go grab groceries real quick. I need to go run these errands, all these things, right? Like I'm the one who needs to learn to spend more quality time with her. She's trying to spend as much quality time as she can because she already understands this principle. This book is great for people like me who are cold, logical, and just have to unlearn a lot of things in life. This book is not as good for my wife. She just knows everything. Her emotional quotient is quite literally at max. My emotional quotient is in the fucking ground. And so many of these things wouldn't apply to her at all, but they apply to me. And I'm trying to take these things in stride and really learn from them. The next one is time with coworkers, which is different from time with friends, I guess. But, in your working years, your time with coworkers is just high, aggressive, like very, very long hours with coworkers. If you work late, if you work in a high stress job, if you don't work a 9 to 5, etc. If you don't work flexibly, you work in an office. And then as you retire, that time also goes away. I believe there's one more graph, time spent alone, which for him, for the way Sahil presented it, it actually increases because the idea is that as you get older, you are spending more time with yourself. Whereas as you're younger, you always have somebody around you, friends, family, teachers, etc. All these things. When you're an adult, maybe you're single, you're spending a lot of time alone. When, even though you have a partner there, you're spending a lot of time with yourself. And the idea is you want to spend more time with yourself. You want to get to know yourself. You do want to be your best friend. You want to have a drink with yourself, right? You want to get on Discord with yourself and play a video game. That's the goal. But you can't do that unless you spend time with yourself and get to know you. I know me. I don't love me, but I know me. Bro, he had this banger quote, which is not his quote. It is one of the American Time Use Survey quotes, which says, despite not being at the end of your life, you may very well be nearing the end of your time with some of the most important people in your life. I said that very poorly in terms of my cadence, but it really makes sense, right? Like, you know how the idea like friends come and go? That's this entire quote's concept. Like anything can come and go. And so the time that they're there is the time that we need to think about, I want to cherish this time with this person because I don't know if they're going to go away in the future or not. And if they do, I would at least like to look back on this and think, yeah, I enjoyed those 2 hours that I got to talk to that person. I enjoyed those 4 years that I was friends with that person, and then we drifted apart. I enjoyed the year that I went to my my workout class or my book club, and I met this friend, and I chatted with them, that kind of stuff, right? So I do think it's very important to understand that in many cases, quality of time just trumps how much time you're spending with somebody. You can spend 5 hours with somebody, but only one of those hours could be quality time. The other 4 hours could just be useless to both of you. And that's not fair. That's not fair to you. That's not fair to whoever you're spending time with. We need to talk about the Memento Mori calendar, which is the My Life in Weeks calendar. I love this. I need to order another one because I had one when I first started the podcast back in 23. I just got really busy, never like colored in the boxes myself. But I would be somewhere in this like, I think third quadrant or third row right here. This is I believe this is his My Life in Weeks. Sahil Bloom's My Life in Weeks. But I love this calendar only because when you're young, it really puts into perspective how much time you have. When you're old, it puts into perspective how much time you've actually lived. For me, it put into perspective, okay, these first 20 years of my life, quite literally the first 20 years of my life I was in the education system, I did not feel like I had an actual life because my life was just school. And, I did things around it, but my life was just study, education, get the degree. That's how it felt. Looking back on it, when I reflect on it. And so I tell myself, and I framed for myself that my life really started when I graduated and started working back in 2020, which would have put me at around 22, 23 years old almost. 23 years old. That's when my life started. So like I'm currently 5 years into my new life. I'm going to be coming up 5 years into this new life that I have for myself. And I try to remind myself that that it's only my 5th year out here, bro. I don't know any people. I don't know anything, right? I try to remind myself that, to give myself a little bit of grace that I don't know everything. I'm not going to know everything. I'm not going to know how to do everything. It's only my 5th year out here. I'm still trying to figure out life along with everybody else. But I do enjoy My Life in Weeks. Everybody else who looked at the calendar is like, that's so morbid. And for me, I'm like, bro, look at how many white dots are there on my calendar. I have so many weeks left in my life. Like, think about that. How many weeks left do you have in your life? A lot. A lot. You know what I mean? There is a section in this chapter that he talks about the concept of running faster to stay in place. And the Red Queen effect that came out of the book Through the Looking Glass, Lewis Carroll's sequel to Alice in Wonderland. The Red Queen effect says that we must run to stay in place and that we must run even faster if we ever hope to get ahead. And that is like society's current mode of operations, where everybody's trying to just go fast, flip it fast, adapt, build the next big thing, find the next big thing, create the next big thing, because technology is adapting at a huge pace. Algorithms are adapting at a huge pace. We have to also try and outrun technology to get ahead of it, so we can be the first ones there. We can be the ones like creating new things that like we're not just reacting. And there's people like me and you and other people, unless you're one of those run fast people, that are just trying to like, bro, I don't do 5K, I don't do cardio. Please slow down. And you just can't catch up, and you feel like your top speed sprinting is you just like barely like keeping up with anybody else. And you have to run so much faster to like keep up. And this run fast, run hard, what's the phrase for it? Burn bright, burn fast. The cyberpunk edge runners theme that it had. That's very real theme. I think a lot of people do that. Because they're trying to work as much as they can and then just chill. Work as much as they can and just chill. The only thing is that you can't work as much as you can, because every time you get to the goal that you're trying to set for yourself, you will set a subsequent goal, and then keep just pushing the goalpost past. You will never stop working, and you will never just chill. That's why me personally, my motto is chill and work. I'm the laziest type A person you've ever met. Sorry, I'm a type B lazy person attempting to masquerade as a type A hard worker. That is basically me. And it works. This was really good. This was talking about the concept of attention residue, which was first identified by the University of Washington's business professor Sophie Leroy back in 2009. And they defined attention residue as the persistence of cognitive activity about a task A, even though one stopped working on task A and currently performs task B. Basically, attention residue is I'm still thinking about the conversation I had last night, even though it's the next day I'm talking to somebody new. You're still thinking about like that gym session you had 4 hours ago when you're supposed to be working at your desk doing that spreadsheet. You're still thinking about that email that your superior sent you like 4 weeks ago, even though you're working for a completely new superior now in a new job or whatever it is. Like that's actually I might be lying. I think it's more task based and less like emotional based. It is more so like, you know, it is very much more so I work on task A, which is like spreadsheet number 1, and then you move on to spreadsheet number 2, but you're still thinking about, actually, did I do spreadsheet number 1 right? You can't even focus on spreadsheet number 2 because you're just thinking about spreadsheet number 1 while you're working on spreadsheet number 2. Your attention split. Your attention residued. It's not. That's not a real word. But I think attention residue is a real thing for us now, right? I have it. I'm sure a lot of people have it. That is a constant struggle, is to align attention and rein in attention day to day. It's as hard as getting up and going to the gym in the morning, or getting up and going for a walk, is getting up and thinking, what deserves my undivided attention today? And it's going to be like 15 things on your list that you think need your undivided attention. Realistically, only like 3 of them need your undivided attention. The rest of them can just be thrown away. And we'll get to that at some point in this section. I think there was another one that I wanted to talk. Oh, yeah. The 3 pillars of time wealth, which are awareness, attention, and control. The first one is awareness, being aware of time. And this quote is such a banger that I literally posted it as a reel. You are subconsciously aware of the immense value of your time, but you regularly and consciously take actions that disregard that value. Like, what the fuck, bro? Like, Sahil Bloom really called me out of my bullshit. Because, like I said, I'm so acutely aware of time. And like anybody else, sometimes I'm just sitting, scrolling on my phone, or sitting, watching TV, or supposed to be working at my desk, and I'm instead of watching YouTube, and I'm telling myself, Arish, you're not being productive. Why aren't you being productive? You could easily finish this right now. This is your time to be working. Why are you doing this? And yet I'm still sitting here just watching things and being like just a complete head ass, to say the least. And so for someone who says he values time a lot, I don't always walk the walk, even though I'm talking the talk. And for all you youngins out there, that's an old ass phrase. That's an old ass phrase. Now, the next one, which is so first it was awareness, then was attention, which we talked about earlier, right? Like giving things your undivided attention, which is really fucking hard. Giving something your undivided attention nowadays is really fucking hard because you want to check your phone, you want to check emails. Like the thing that they talked about in here, which is actually very aggressively fair, is when you're trying to work on something and you think and you hear that Outlook ping go off, and I'm not going to play it for you guys because I think I would give everybody trauma and PTSD. But you just know that Outlook or that Teams ping, and you think, oh, let me just go check that ping real quick, and then you get derailed for 30 minutes maybe, and then you have to get back to your task when you could have continued your task, finished it, and then checked the emails and the pings. It probably wasn't that serious, but we can't help it. There's just like the notification creates this fake sense of urgency in us where we're like, what if I need to answer this right now? What is so important that somebody has messaged me directly and asked or commented or said something? I need to know what it is right now. You don't need to know what it is right now. Take it from Entro. Take it from Arish. You don't need to know what that ping is right now. Mute your shit. Put yourself on busy. Go do your work and then come back and check things, right? Extended hours of deep work, shorter hours of email and message checking and responding. That will clean up your entire day. You will probably leave the workday 10 times better than before if you adopt that principle of extended hours deep work, shorter hours messages and response time. Like 15 minutes, 20 minutes max. And then move on to the next task of deep work, etc. I promise you your quality of work and life will increase if you adopt that, if you listen to me, which is fine, you don't have to listen to me, but if you listen to me, it might work. I'm just saying. The next pillar is control. And this one was interesting. This one was a paper in 2021 in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology that reviewed 2 large-scale data sets of 35,375 Americans. Dr. Cassie Holmes and her co-authors found that the relationship between free time and happiness follows an inverse U-shape, meaning that both too little and too much free time lead to unhappiness. Now, if you don't know what an inverse U-shape is, I'm going to make one for you right now, okay? This is an inverse U-shape. This is basically it. So if you have too little time, you're unhappy. As you spend your time doing things maybe that you want to do, you become happy. If you spend too much time doing things that you do or don't want to do, you become unhappy again. So it's about finding that middle ground of how much time can I spend? Do I need to spend in this thing to really get the joy out of it? and then I need to stop there before I go too far. Otherwise, I'm going to be unhappy again, whether it's I spent too much time on this and I didn't get to this other thing, or I spent too much time on this and just I got bored, annoyed, etc., irritated, whatever it is, and I'm now unhappy, etc. That is the concept. I get it. The days that I know you will relate with me on this. But the days that I involuntarily just like sit on my bed and do nothing, like last week, Friday or Thursday, there was like a morning where I woke up at 7 a.m. I don't start work till 10. Wife left for work. I sat on my bed on my phone with YouTube playing on the TV all 3 hours of the morning. Literally, I didn't pick up a book. I don't even think I watched what was on TV. I just put it on for background noise and it was just on my phone for 3 hours. Quite literally, that was the worst way I could have started my day. It ruined my entire Friday. Like, it basically ruined my entire Friday because I did that. And it basically feels like you're starting on your back foot and you are clawing your way like back to a baseline level of like emotional neutrality, mental neutrality, physical neutrality, in terms of like I'm clawing my way up to feeling baseline okay to then try and have a good day after that. And it takes hours to get back on track. It takes literally so much energy to get back on track. It's actually insane. And I remember after it was done, I was like, wow, I have not spent a morning like this in a long time, or in a while, not a long time, but in a while. And I feel awful, specifically because I did nothing. Like literally nothing. It was so bad. It was so aggressively bad. There's a mini section at the end of the time wealth section that says how to simplify your to-do system. The index card method. And essentially, the idea from Mark Andreessen is each night before you go to bed, prepare a 3x5 index card with a short list of 3 to 5 things that you will do the next day. Ideally, this is a list of important tasks that directly contribute to your long-term values or goals. Avoid writing down all the miscellaneous, urgent, unimportant to-do items. I love a good to-do list. I love a good to-do list. That's why the ones that I made, like the ones that I made specifically, do this. Actually, that's a lie. The ones that I made are the complete opposite of what this concept is, which is just 3 to 5 things that you have to do. I do split it up into different things, just so like, just to remind yourself, right? Like, how are you going to spend your morning? How are you going to spend your day? What are some fun things you know you like to do in the day? And as you get through the day, what are the things that I need to do tomorrow that can be transferred to the next morning, the next day, etc. I love my to-do list. I need to revamp it, but I love my to-do list. And I will say this, and this is a key thing. I think the key thing is writing it down, like physically, with physical pencil, pen, and paper. Because when you just type it on your phone so quickly, like something gets lost in translation when it comes to typing out something and then you just forget it, as opposed to writing down something and you remember it. Which is why, like, when I get really busy with like work or I have a lot of things to do and my mind is very messy, I can't type things out. I have to get my journal, or when I'm specifically working, I will get a horizontal sticky note, and I will write down every single task that I have to do for work for like a day or 2 days or 3 days or for the week. And so throughout the week, I look at that sticky note and start just crossing things off of it. And just the feeling of writing everything down gets it out of your head, but it's in front of your face. You do remember that you have to do things. You just, have them in front of you. The satisfaction of crossing it out once you're done. It really does help help me mentally when I do things like that. So I would highly recommend physical to-do lists versus digital ones. I just think they work better for someone like me, but maybe someone like you too, if digital to-do lists just aren't working. This one's interesting. It's another mini section, and it's how to eliminate time waste, which is time waste and Parkinson's law. So Parkinson's law is the idea that work expands to fill the time allotted for its completion. Ooh, my procrastinators out there, stand up, raise your glasses, toast, clink. Because how many of you guys are at a job where they tell you, I need this thing by Friday, and you stretch that fucking task out all the way until Thursday night or Friday morning itself? Like, you stretch that thing out because your deadline was Friday. It probably only would have taken you like a Monday and a half to do. But because they told you Friday, stretch that thing out. One of the lines in here is, open time frames lead to a lot of movement and very little progress. The rocking horse phenomenon of busy work culture. Like, I'm so busy. What have you done? I'm so busy, bro. Today was so busy. What did you do today? Bro, you won't believe how much time I spent at work today. What are your billable hours like? Like, what did you actually get done today? You know? Because I truly believe this is one of my beliefs that I don't always put into action, but I'm a heavy believer of it. That completion of tasks are more important than looking like you're busy doing something. Having done something to completion is more important than looking like you did something. So thinking that it's more impressive that you were busy for 8 hours in a day is just false. It's less impressive that you were busy for 8 hours a day as opposed to, you gave me a task, I finished it in 4 and I'm chilling now. Or there's another thing you want me to do, bam, I'll take that. I'll take that too. Double the work. I know we hate that in today's work culture. Like, I'm with you on that. But the idea here, and I'm talking softly to you because I don't want you to yell at me, but I'm talking softly to you. And I'm just saying that we have to figure out how to eliminate busy works in our lives in general, right? That's like, I know that I feel much worse at work when I do a lot of busy work because I'm thinking work just sucks. But the days that I'm like, okay, cool, why don't you actually do shit and get shit done? And like, getting shit done is when the dopamine hits. Getting shit done is when the satisfaction hits. Getting shit done is when the good vibes hit. Because I got shit done. I didn't just sit on shit until somebody was like, yo, where is this? And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I forgot. And then you just had to pull your head out of your ass. I would highly recommend focusing on a more completionist mindset than a look busy to look busy mindset, at least for your own mental health, to be honest, and for your own time wealth. There's another line in here, which I love. It says, when you establish long fixed hours to do your work, you find unproductive ways to fill it. You work longer but get less done. You want to sprint, rest, and repeat. You want to get in there, get your shit done, get out, take a breather, get back in, get your shit done, get out, take a breather. That's what I've actually started doing at work. And just on all the projects that I work on, is I try to, like, I'll look at the time and say, okay, cool. It's 1:00. Boom, start. And my timer is running. Get everything done within everything that you need to get done within the next hour. By 1:50, I'm done the next 10 minutes. Step away from the desk. Go take a walk, go eat something, go do a chore, step away from the desk, come back. And like 8 minutes, 2:00. Okay, next thing. Goes to like 2:30. Okay, cool. Take a step back. Get back in. 2:45. Okay, goes until like 3:15. Do that. Take a step back. Like, sprint, rest, repeat is really, really a good way to leverage, or not leverage, but improve your completion rate of tasks and your overall productivity at that point, and then giving you more time back in a sense. Bro, these fucking milkshakes are so addicting, goddamn. They're so addicting. All right, I think that is basically the end of the time wealth section that I wanted to talk to you guys about. And so, in summary, right, time wealth is basically awareness, attention, and control, right? Your goal is to get time back to yourself. What you don't want is to just be spending time on things that don't matter in the long run, right? Take a step back and think about how much time are you actually spending on things that don't matter as part of your day? But you're telling yourself, no, this is very important. Like, how much time are you actually spending on things that don't matter at all? And really try and like dig deep and understand that. Me personally, I understand that. And so there's days when there's days when I'm like, you know what? Yeah, those dishes are not getting done. That workout is not happening today. This walk is not happening today. Because I know that for that day, that is not the most important thing that I need to do that day. And I will focus on the most important thing that I need to do that day. For the most part. Something's getting in the way. You know, we're all spontaneous at times. Haha, hair flip. But, you know, try really hard to focus on what is important to complete that day and actually get it done. Instead of saying, I have the day to do this, I have 30 minutes right now to do this thing. Get it done. And then it's done. And then it's out of your brain until the next time you have to do it again. So you and I need to talk about physical wealth. And I'll be honest, physical wealth was probably the least beneficial section of this book to me. And that's only because I've spent my entire 20s consuming like physical wellness content in general, like in detail, in general, etc. I've consumed so much of it. I'm still not a nut about it, but I know enough for my life thus far, and I continue to learn and I continue to dig into it. So a lot of the big ticket items in this one just didn't really it didn't open any eyes for me. It didn't give me like any aha moments. So for me, this was the weakest section, but it might be the strongest section for somebody else who doesn't know this information, to be honest. The big question for physical wealth was, will you be dancing at your 80th birthday party? And what I wrote here was they're gonna have to try and stop me because I'm dancing until my feet fall off. And my wife's a podiatrist, so I'm gonna force her to put more feet on me so I can keep dancing. Like literally, I'm dancing till my feet fall off. But the question there is one of those project yourself into the future questions and really understand who you are today, the choices you're making today. Are they going to allow your 80-year-old self to continue dancing at your 80th birthday? Because if not, you better make those changes right now to make sure that like 80-year-old you can dance on your 80th birthday and can get up and get down and can pick up your grandkids and or your great grandkids and can give your children a bear hug and can walk with your spouse on an evening walk, as we see all the oldies do. So cute. So cute. The physical wealth section, which, like I said, I love it when Sahil Bloom starts to tell a story about somebody, and he actually talks about the history of Dan Go. And if you don't know who Dan Go is a very prominent and popular health and wellness figure in the fitness space in general. And then he started like posting more content on X and things like that, and his name has gotten out there even more. But he used to be a very unhealthy individual, very, very unhealthy. So he starts physical wealth with Dan Go's story, which I found interesting because I never knew his story. I always saw his name, but I never knew his story. So I found that very interesting. And the impetus, the quote that Dan said to himself that changed his life, which I mean, I'm sure he said it, but like maybe not in the exact ways. But he said to himself, I realized that if I kept living the way I was living, I was going to end up dead. And this is like what happened when, or this is what caused him to do a complete mindset and lifestyle shift to health and wellness when he was in his like 20s, maybe his late teens, his early 20s type of thing. He did a 30-day fitness challenge for himself, and by day 30, he was like, "Yeah, this is my shit. This, all me. I'm Dan going to the gym." Yesterday, it was Dan gone to the party. Now it's Dan going to the gym. Please don't leave. That was such a bad joke. Oh God, my joke's getting so much worse. I'm getting fucking old. But yeah, there wasn't much for me to talk about in this physical wealth section, only because I was like, man, I already know a lot of this information. To where I'm like, what am I actually going to talk about? Oh, this was cool though. He spent almost an entire chapter tracking and showing the story of like how our bodies have evolved over time, back from the hunter-gatherer days, through the agricultural revolution days, through the Roman and Greek war, like soldier days, through the Olympic Games and gladiatorial days, even going through the decline of the physical being with the increase of the church that happened around 2nd century BC, and where the church really said, what was it? Under Christian doctrine, the body was too sinful an instrument to be afforded public celebration or private homilies. Basically not valuing or showing off the physique or the body or strength or movement in general, as we did prior. And then that ends up, we get to the Darwinism stages, we get the Olympics back in, etc. And then this part, which I really respect him talking about, he said, at present, in today's present world, it is hard to go a single day without encountering a new health or wellness fad promising the youth strength, beauty, or vigor we have been wired to seek. And the thing at the end is the wired part, because it's society telling us, each other, you need this. So then it's marketers saying, the one thing you need is what we have. And you will never get what you need unless you take what we have and buy what we have and pay us for what we have. That is basically the whole marketing gimmick. Which is really frustrating. It's really frustrating and predatory to tell somebody that this is the only way. You have this problem and I'm here to fix it. And you can only fix your problem with what I'm about to tell you. And if you don't listen to what I'm about to tell you, then you might as well get stuck with your problem and die early. Like, that's essentially what their message is, right? And I find marketing like that very predatory. I don't like it. It's not what I'm into. But, if you're susceptible to that shit, if the shoe fits, not me though. The next story, which is also once again very interesting, right? Who's heard of Brian Johnson? Not the Liver King Brian Johnson. The anti-aging Brian Johnson. They're actually two different people. Fun fact. So he recounts the story of Brian Johnson, the anti-aging enthusiast, who, he's made his money in tech, and he ended up realizing that, like, okay, not realizing, but he really dove into the concept of like physical age and biological age, and he's trying very hard to reverse his biological age and make his biological age so much younger than his physical age. I think last I checked, he was like 2 years behind his actual physical age. It might be more now, but he has an aggressively stringent daily routine as his 45-year-old. And here's his like routine, right? Here's the start of his day. Wake up at 5 a.m., take vital signs, and consume first round of morning supplements. Conduct morning light therapy and meditation. Make and drink pre-workout concoctions. Consume second round of morning supplements. Perform rigorous workout involving a variety of movements and heart rate zones. Take shower and perform skincare routine. Eat post-workout meal, which is vegetables, lentils, nuts, and other vegan ingredients cooked on the stove. Conduct more light therapy and consume third round of morning supplements. Like, what the fuck? Guy like me is never doing that. Guy like you is never doing that. But what I think we can do is we can take the principles that he has, right? And the principles that he has are daily movement, proper nutrition, and thoughtful recovery, which are the pillars of physical wealth. Movement, nutrition, recovery. So, movement. We should be moving every day. Everybody knows this. I'm just going to say it. We should be moving every day. 30 minutes of walking a day is minimum what you should be doing. Do I do that? I'm going to say yes. I'm going to lie to you and say yes. But there are days when I don't even move for 30 minutes. Move in the sense like a brisk walk outside. Like I don't subscribe to the mentality of people that are like, oh, well, I work from home and I move around the entire house all day. Fuck you. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about brisk movement that increases your heart rate up to zone 2 at minimum. That is the type of movement we're talking about for its benefits. Okay? You walking to your kitchen to grab food to go sit back down on your desk is not movement. Okay? Fuck you for suggesting that. So after movement, he basically breaks down different types of movements, right? Cardiovascular movements, strength movements, stability and flexibility, 3 levels of movement. Then he goes into nutrition. We all know about, we've all heard it before. Calories in, calories out, macronutrients, micronutrients, prioritize whole foods, hydration, things like that. Recovery. We all know sleep is the most important tool out there. We all know this. If you don't have an 8 sleep mattress, this is not an ad, and I really wish I would stop talking about products who aren't paying me, but I have to tell you this because it's for your benefit. If you don't have an 8 sleep mattress, I'm not saying you should get one, because I completely understand people in different financial situations. But if you have at some point the finances to buy an 8 sleep mattress pod or a mattress, do it. Do it. It is the single best investment I've ever made in my health, like in the past 5 years. Like the number one. Because I kid you not, the amount of times I'm like, holy shit, it's so hot in the summer with all the fans on and the AC running, and it's so hot. But you know why I don't feel hot? Because my mattress pod is cooling me the fuck down underneath the sheets. So I stay cool all night. And I'm sleeping like a fucking baby. I don't wake up to go pee in the middle of the night. I don't wake up with sweats in the morning. I don't wake up like groggy and heavy and ew and sticky because I was sweating overnight. It's amazing. Quite literally amazing. I love that shit. Once again, not sponsored, but A-Sleep, you know where to find me. That was physical wealth. I mean, honestly, like I said, physical wealth is this was the least story-driven section. I mean, the Dan Go story, the story of the story of how our physiques have evolved over time and how our treatment of movement has evolved over time. Brian Johnson's stories; those are the biggest stories of this time. But just for me, it wasn't as impactful as the other ones. But I think it still would be impactful for a lot of people. He puts a lot of examples in here. Example workout plans, example nutrition, example like recovery. Like he gives you a lot of actual executable content in here. He doesn't just say shit and say, figure it out for yourself or try this out and see how it goes. He gives you very, very clear, actionable steps, which I do appreciate. And I love that for him. Actually, I love that for me. Thank you to him. But now we have to talk about money. And I know people don't like to talk about money. I know money is a touchy topic. But we have to talk about financial wealth. Because financial wealth is simultaneously helping and hurting society. And it's the largest factor in your day now is money. Money. How can I spend my day today, tomorrow? How can I take this vacation that I want to take? How can I go out with my friends this weekend? How can I go out with my partner? I need money to do so. And therefore I need to work. And I can't work, or I work and I only get X amount of money. I don't know how to increase the amount of money that I'm making. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I feel like I'm not spending anything, and yet I don't have enough money to do anything. I was in the same place for quite a few years, um, where I was so cognizant of like how much money I had. Um, and I tried everything, right? I tried investing. I tried trading myself. I tried just picking stocks and stuff myself to invest in. I tried crypto. I've tried a lot of things. I haven't tried um, what's the word for it? I haven't tried what's it called? What's that thing called that people do? I don't fucking know what it's called. It's some sort of like stock thing where it's like ETFs, not ETFs. I don't fucking know. If I remember it, I'll tell you guys. But I don't remember what the trading concept is. I just know a good amount of people do it, and I just couldn't wrap my head around it. But I've tried a lot. I even I'm in the process of trying to figure out how businesses work to see if that method works for me, because the stocks and bonds and ETFs and day trading and crypto and timing the market shit did not work for me. I'm too emotional of a person. I don't like it. I drop my money. I am playing the long haul concept of drop your money, forget about it, come back in 10 years and see if it grew. That's all I'm doing, really. But while that's happening, I want to continue to do like other things, right? I'm trying to continue to grow my earning potential. I'm trying to continue to grow my skill set. I'm trying to continue to figure out what is it that if I didn't have money, I would still want to do, but because I would do it without money, I can also do it in order to get money. Um, that was a lot. That was a very big verbal dump, but um, the financial wealth section is it's trying to give you a wake up call. It's basically saying stop pursuing money as the only thing, because at the end of the day, paper money is a social construct. Because before that, we had bartering. Like money wasn't even the thing that we traded. We traded services and goods for each other, for other goods and services. We did not just give like a piece of paper to somebody and say, now give me the physical thing that you have because of my construct of paper money that isn't backed by anything, right? We just agree that it has value, therefore it has value. If we all agree to this, if we all agree the dollar has no value, the dollar has no value. High key. If we all just agree that, it would have no value. Duh. So knowing that you're putting all of your focus and attention and time and mental energy and emotions into something that is not even real, it's a very hard thing to get your mindset out of, because it's so ingrained in our mindset in society, which is like it's a very money centric society. Um, Sahil Bloom calls it the Sisyphean struggle. The quest for more is a modern day equivalent of the Sisyphean struggle. Never had so much trouble saying a word. No financial win ever quite satiates, because you'll be basically what we do is we say, okay, cool, I want to get to the goal of making 50K a year. Done. Next goal. 75K a year. Done. Next goal. 100K a year. Done. Next goal. 150K a year. Done. Next goal. The reason why those feel done and then you make a next goal is because you start basically as your like top line number increases, all the expenses underneath it also increase, because you're like, well, now I have $150 coming into me. Technically, it's like it's like 2/3 of that because of taxes, health insurance, and all that other bullshit, 401k shit. But like 2/3 of that 150K is coming into your bank account like every 2 weeks, right? And you're thinking, okay, cool. Now I can just afford more things, and it's like, well, should you try to afford more things? And it sounds very bad. Like, how can you say that I shouldn't buy more things for myself? How can you say that I shouldn't try and get myself into a better standard of living? I'm not saying that. I'm saying don't immediately increase the amount of your expenses in correlation with the increase in your income. There should be a unproportionate increase in expenses to your income. You should be saving, investing, spending on appropriate utility things. Me personally, I hate spending money on frivolous, presentational, aesthetic things. I just don't like it. I can't get behind it. If it doesn't have a utility of sort for my own use, I just can't get myself to get behind buying it. It doesn't matter if it's $3, $300, $3,000. It very much matters if it's $3,000, by the way. That's a large sum of money. Please think twice. At least think 30 times before you try and buy something that's worth $3,000 if your net worth does not let you buy it 9 times over. But if it's like $3, $10, whatever it is, you're like, just $3 to $10. But multiple $3 to $10 purchases add up over time. And you don't want that. You don't want that you don't want that addition in your life. I'm a very utilitarian person, so I spend money where I see the utility of it, the camera, the books, the lighting, all of that stuff, the mic. I buy it because it will improve something that I'm doing in a workflow, process, quality, product, things like that, right? I don't just buy things because they look cute and pretty. If you do, sure, enjoy. But a guy like me just doesn't. And I'm just like that for real. There's this quote that I really like, and it should probably go on a mug or a shirt or both. And it says, if you are not enough without it, you'll never be enough with it. And this just plays back to like the concept of the struggle and the never ending, the unreachable goalpost that is your net worth and your income. Because if you're not happy where you are right now, you won't be happy at 150K because you'll find something to be unhappy about. If you're unhappy at 150K, you won't be happy at 200K. You'll just find something to be unhappy about. I promise you. Something will happen and you'll just be unhappy and think, I need 300K to make myself happier. Because I have 200K right now that I'm unhappy. Not other factors in your life. You know what I mean? So like, our focus should be not on what amount of money do I need to be happy in life. It should be, how can I gain happiness? And then what funds do I need in order to enable certain things that make me happy? Or what amount of money do I need to further increase joy in my life? Past my point of already being content and happy. Now, I'm saying that, I get it. Guy like me, just, I have that unreachable goalpost mentality. I'm working on it right now. That's why I'm talking to you guys about it, because I feel like if I don't talk to you guys about it, I can't really like show progress if I'm not like, hey, look, I was here and now I'm here. So I have to talk to you guys about it. The three pillars of financial wealth, right, is income generation, expense management, and long-term investment. So when it comes to income generation and expense management, right, the whole idea is increase your earning potential, your income earning potential, and decrease your expense outflow. You do those are the first two things you should ever try to do when it comes to money. Like, that's it. Spend less money than you bring in is just the basic principle that everybody knows. Everybody knows this, right? But the way that you increase your earning potential, you're like, how do I do this? How do I increase my earning potential? It's called skills. It's called, how to do something better than somebody else, and somebody wants to pay you for the fact that you know how to do that thing. So Sahil Bloom has like a really good section here where he talks about skills that are very beneficial in today's society, and I will skip to that part because I think you guys will really like that. We'll come back to these other things, but 6 marketable meta skills to build for a high income future. The 6 are sales, storytelling, design, writing, software engineering, and data science. And all of these are linked back to technology. And even if you're not in the technology sector, oil and gas needs this, right? Securities, trading needs this. Fashion needs this. Cars, vehicles, transportation needs these. Like any industry needs these in some way, form, or fashion. And this is where you can leverage yourself and say, I will do it for cheap, but I will do it better than that other guy. And they're like, okay, cool, I'll pay you then. Just do it better than the other guy. And then you tell them, okay, cool, I did it better than the other guy. Now, actually, I'm a little bit more expensive. But if you like the quality of the work, you'll pay me anyway. And then they'll come and pay you anyway. These 6 skills are actually really huge skills. I wish I was good at sales and marketing. I wish that I was good at sales and marketing. I am not. Okay? I used to clown on marketing majors back in college because I thought marketing was the dumbest department. I was in accounting. So who's a clown now? Because I just, it's just so hard for me to wrap my head around certain marketing concepts and like execute. Actually, that's a lie. It's not hard for me to wrap my head around them. It's so hard for me to execute on them. That's the part that gets me. Because I'm like, I don't know how to execute on things, which is why I'm reading all these books and trying to understand these things. It's just difficult. It's just difficult. And if you have a mind for marketing, use it. Like your mind, if you have a mind for marketing, is literally your golden seed, and water it with your time, your energy, your attention, your focus, and just watch what it grows into. Like don't discount your strengths when it comes to like what skills you have, right? There's another section here that says financial wealth hacks that I know at 42 that I wish I knew at 22. And I'll say a couple of these things, right? It says ask $30,000 questions, not $3 questions. We're obsessed with tiny financial decisions that make no real difference in our lives. They keep us busy and small. The amount you spend on coffee will not change your life, but focusing on $30,000 questions will. Focus on investment fees, asset allocation, negotiating salaries, mortgage interest, and student loan interest. These $30,000 questions will make a difference in the long run. And he's so true because, over the past 2 years, I've really started to stop sweating the small things. Like, yeah, every now and then I'll tease and clown my wife for buying that Starbucks or that coffee or that donut or that bagel or, buying those little like $4 or $5 things on Amazon. But at the end of the day, I'm like, that's not the thing that are breaking the bank. And they're not going to break the bank. The stuff that I buy breaks the bank, which is why I'm more cognizant about the stuff that I buy, because I'm a high value purchaser. I pay more money for things that are of higher value that I will not have to replace for at least 3 to 5 years. Like that is how I structure my purchases. If I buy this thing, I'm not buying another one of them. I don't buy multiple things in multiple colors. I don't do that shit. I don't buy multiple things just to have variety. I buy one thing and use that one thing and run it into the fucking ground as much as I can. But because I do that, I have to think a lot more about the purchases that I make because they are higher ticket items than, for example, my wife. And so it took a couple of months for me to fully understand that when we first got married and we started living together. Because I was like, why are you buying all these things? Like, we're spending too much. But then when I took a step back, I was like, Arish, your 3 purchases equal like 10 of her purchases. Those 10 purchases of hers make her happy, and they're not breaking the bank. You have no reason to focus on those, right? think about the bigger questions. Okay, let's think about the saving, the investments, the where we're putting our money, how much we're budgeting, all that stuff, right? Let's stop focus like stop focusing on um that thing that you bought from Amazon that you thought was cute. Girl, she bought a mini vacuum that's like this big that has to connect to like a US that literally powers on by like a wired USB cable. And she was like, "It's so cute. Look at it." And then we tried to use it once. I was like, "What the fuck did you just buy? This is the dumbest, most useless shit ever." She agreed, so we ended up throwing it away. But I mean, it was a little cheap thing. It was for fun, and there was no reason for me to be mad about that, right? Like, like that's not what I need to be mad about. That's not what I need to like put my attention to, you know. There is one more section that I think out of the whole idea of like investing, the whole concept of investing, there's a thing about investing in others, investing in things, and then investing in yourself. And I think the most important thing, or I believe actually the most, let me not stop touching the mic, Rio. I believe the most important thing is to think about investing in yourself. And that price tag has a higher threshold than others. Books for your learning and education, courses, classes, seminars, things that will help you meet people or learn new things, learn new skills, increase your earning potential. That is what is so, how to put this? That is worth so much more than what you think in the moment. And I think we just have to learn to trust that this investment in ourselves is going to pay off in the future. Even if in the moment it doesn't feel like it. In the first 3 months of you doing that thing, you're like, man, this was a waste of money, huh? I can't believe I wasted money on this. But then 9 months, 12 months down the line, you'll be like, oh wow, I'm putting into practice the things that I learned in those first 3 months that I made that initial investment into that course. I'm actually glad that I did that. Same thing with food, right? Same thing with food. I've tried really hard not to limit myself on spending on foods that I need for nutrition, um, that are more convenient. The shakes, the protein bars. I know I need these because I just don't eat enough. I'm never going to eat enough. I literally don't think about food like that. Therefore, I need these in order to get all the nutrients that I need. And there were points in time when I just didn't eat because I didn't feel like going out and buying more food. So like, man, I really don't want to pay for food right now or pay for ingredients to make food right now. So I just didn't eat as much. And I saw how that was affecting my physical body over time. And I was like, RH, you cannot let money get in the way of food. Like, yes, like we try and limit when we eat out as much and we try and cook food inside. But it's more so like, okay, I know that to get my protein, I need a shake and a bar every single day. Therefore, I'm going to buy the shake and the bars that I need in bulk and keep them for when I need them every single day. And that is an expense higher than what I would originally like to pay, but it is paying off in the sense that I'm getting nutrition and energy through these every single day. And I'm keeping my protein up and keeping my nutrients up to continue doing the things that I want to do. And that is my rationale. That is me investing in myself. That is where I would like to finish off the book. There is like a little like farewell chapter at the end, but it wasn't like the most anything major. But that was the 5 Types of Wealth by Sahil Bloom in excruciating detail. And I know it was excruciating for you because it was excruciating for me to say certain things that I said to you. But I do hope you learned something from this, anything, right? Because I learned so many things from this. Like look at all of that stuff. Look at yo, I'm close up, look at that, close up. Wait a minute. Look at that. Wait. ASMR? Anyways, now that I've assaulted your ears, that was The 5 Types of Wealth by Sahil Bloom. Time wealth, social wealth, mental wealth, physical wealth, and financial wealth. I would highly recommend picking this book up. Only not necessarily that you have to read all of it right now, but pick it up, crack it open, and just read it in like free time that you have over like the span of a few months, like I've done, and it'll start to change the way you think. I'm very selective about the books that I recommend to you guys. I really am. Hidden Genius is one of them. 5 Types of Wealth is one of them. I didn't necessarily love Feel Good Productivity from Ali Abdaal. Maybe I'll give it a second chance at some point. I just didn't love it. Show Your Work by. You know what? Wait a second, guys. All right, we're back. So this is currently my nonfiction book stack, not including Alex Hormozy's Money Models books that are up there that I didn't want to bring down. These are the books over the past few years that I've read, right? I would always recommend Austin Kleon's Show Your Work. I would always recommend this book because it is what got me into creating content in the first place. I love it. Hidden Genius really revitalized my love for books like this because it's just a book of stories. It's a book of stories and interesting people and the things that they do and the things that they say and the ways that they are. And Polina Marinova-Pompliano's storytelling, to me, and her descriptions, her writing style, the questions that she asks, the ways that she thinks, they resonate with me a lot. They really do, and I really do enjoy Hidden Genius by Polina Marinova-Pompliano. I want to talk to her on the podcast. I think she's currently out of my reach, but at some point, I would like to change that. Ali Abdaal's Feel Good Productivity, I only got as far as chapter 2, and then I stopped because I just think this is not what I need in life right now. Therefore, I just didn't finish reading it, to be completely honest with you. My foray into productivity ended around the time that I bought this book. So I wasn't just as interested in all the principles. I did love, at the beginning, there's a section here that talks about the different kinds of people. Where is it? It is one of my favorite things. And like the little games and stuff that he puts that he talks about in here are actually really fun. I'm not gonna lie to you. Maybe he didn't put it in this book. I thought he did. Oh, it is. It's the 8 play personalities, which I really do enjoy. I find these very interesting. Maybe we'll go through the first 2 chapters of this book one day together and talk about it, and maybe it'll like make me want to get back into it. But maybe I will go back to this book. Maybe just at the time that I was in life, it wasn't doing much for me, but maybe it'll do more for me now. You guys convinced me. Thank you. Obviously, we just finished 5 Types of Wealth by Sahil Bloom. The next book that we're going to be breaking down, not immediately, but the next book that we'll be breaking down in excruciating detail is Main Street Millionaire by Cody Sanchez. This is how to make extraordinary wealth buying ordinary businesses. Like, Cody Sanchez's contrarian thinking very aggressively intrigues me. I just don't know how it works. And that's why I want to read the book. I just want to know how it works, to know that, is this something that I would do? Instead of trying to start anything of my own, would I do this instead and just buy somebody else's? How does that work? Whose do I buy? How do I look for good businesses to buy? What are the best negotiating practices to start well and continue? What types of implementations do people put in ordinary businesses to then increase the earning potential of those businesses, etc.? Right? How do people do that? So we will be cracking this book open at some point and reading it. Once again, not in the near future, but maybe end of this year, something like that. Yeah, I'm excited for this one. Like I said, guys, I'm very picky and choosy on the books that I read and recommend to you guys. And so there's a reason why this is the stack that I have, right? There's a reason why this is the stack that I have. I don't read everything because there's not a lot of value in all the books out there. There's really not. People say they are, but there's really not. It's like you read a whole book for like 3 nuggets of wisdom. I could read one of these books and get 1,500 nuggets of wisdom, right? Just the density of quality is so much better in these books, in my opinion. That being said, I really appreciate if you have listened to both of these videos and listened to thus far. Stick around for the next set of guest interviews, and I will catch you guys later. Have a good day. Take it easy. Peace.